of March 10th, 2026 of Ripon City Council to order. We met in closed session. Mr. Terpstra, could you report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council did meet at closed session starting at 5:30. All members were present, and there was no reportable action out of that closed session.
Very good. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor at Christ Community Church, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to pray. God in heaven, I thank you for the privilege and the opportunity of even being able to pray before this meeting. I thank you for a country. I thank you for a city where our rights to the free exercise of our religion are not just allowed, but have been fought for and even in some cases died for. So I want to be thankful to you tonight for this opportunity to pray, even as I ask that you would continue to give our city leadership wisdom and skill in the decisions that they make, and the kinds of things they do for all of our good. I pray that you would help even what is talked about tonight, decided on tonight, be for the good of all in our community. As we think tonight about across our world and war and death that is all around, we want to thank you for the peace and safety you've granted to us here and not take that for granted. So we thank you for that. We pray for families who are grieving tonight, whether military members or other who are grieving death and loss, that you would be a comfort to them. I thank you for the prosperity you let us enjoy. And so I pray for the financial good of our city, of our state, of our country, and ultimately of our world, for the good of human flourishing, we pray. We are mindful that many have made great sacrifices for us, and so we thank you for the sacrifices that are made day in and day out in the city and all across our country, even as I'm thankful for the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ, who gave up himself on a cross to pay for my sins and for any who would believe in him. So I pray these things believing in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Lisa, roll call, please.
Councilmember Daniel DeGraff.
Here.
Leo Zuber.
Here.
Mike Restuccia.
Present.
Vice Mayor Dean Euchre.
Here.
Mayor Gary Barton.
Present. This is an opportunity for those here who would like to address the council on matters that are not on the agenda. If there is anyone here who would like to do so, please come to the podium. We have our favorite, well, I guess he's our only poet laureate. So
For the time being, for the time being, thank you. The inaugural poet laureate. I tried a reminder that next Wednesday, the 18th, at the library at 4:00, we will have our poetry meetup. So many people like to share poems and read poems that they've written, and that's an occasion to do it at the library at 4:00. I tried to write lyrically a poem on the Fulton Street overpass road work, but at the last minute, I took a detour. So it's March, it's Women's History Month. We honor the women of Ripon. You know them or should. She's the combat veteran who opened a bookstore on Main Street. There's a writer who is the city's librarian. All the women who sit on the side at the city council meetings, sparsely attended, they are the folks who really run things. There's the teachers and the business owners, the neighbors and friends, the women of the Ripon Arts League, the people at church, at the schools. Do we ever really stop to see them? I dare not leave out my spouse, who has done so much, raised kids, took care of the home, volunteered at the school, but in her real work, she led the campaign that ended cruelty in practically all cosmetics sold everywhere. Now women can show their empathy, choose to wear makeup that did not test on animals first. A little thing, caring and compassion are big things. Women have done big things in the world and in Ripon. every March, we take the time, we honor them all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emil. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes. Yes. Please give us your name and address if you're so inclined.
Hi, my name is Ellen Brittingham. I just wanted to take the opportunity tonight to introduce myself. I'm the new PG&E representative for this region. So I'm happy to be stepping into this role, and I look forward to being a partner and a resource to the city of Ripon, yourselves, and your staff. So I'll leave my contact information with the city clerk since I don't have business cards yet. This is my third week on the job. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. But other than that, I won't monopolize the rest of your city hall.
Seeing no questions, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Yes.
Hello to everybody. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. My mouth is not that good. I just want to say, I don't know.
Could you give us your name, please, sir?
I'm sorry, what?
Your name?
Nicolas Melgarejo, Ripon resident for more than 45 years, living by a Western school. Okay, I got a big concerns about safety issues here in Ripon. The first one, we need reflectors on Stockton Avenue. The bricks are not clear, and with the heavy traffic from that area, you're not able to see the middle lane. No matter what, day or night, you will not see the divided lane or whatever you name it. On the daytime, you okay, you can see to the side, but nighttime, you just can't. I talked to, I don't know who, one day when I came to pay my bill, and they say, you gotta say this to the meeting. Okay, it's what I'm asking to fix that matter before we have a bad accident, because heavy traffic is not good. The other thing, Jacktown Road to Main Street, the center lanes, divided lanes, or whatever you name it, you don't know where you're going to. If you need to go to the left, going west on either, I don't know, it's West Ripon Road or Main Street, you don't know where exactly where you're going to make a turn onto your routes. So you guys need to go and see exactly what's going on or how that is and trying to fix it. I'm noticing that by the same area, the city is spending a lot of money fixing things and they ignoring people on this side. I don't know if the taxes on this side are different than the ones they pay on the other side. They pay on the other side or what's going on. We need reflectors at the same side on the planters or whatever you call it on the ground, so you see exactly where the curve goes and you're not causing any accident. The mirror lights from North Stockton Avenue to the southbound 99 is a big mistake because when the heavy traffic goes, it's bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper because you had to wait at the signal light. To me, it's a big mistake from Caltrans or for the city manager or I don't know from who. So it's those things that once I really was told from someone from the where you pay your bills, is the place that this is the right place to ask for that to get fixed. So I'm hoping we do something better before an accident goes bad. This is to the police department. We need better patrolling on the school because people now obeying the what you call it, safety patrols, and a lot of times on Weston at Stanley and Roos, people not obeying these kids. So I don't know if we can do something better or not. My time is almost over, so thank you very much. And I'm hoping we do things right before anything happens, because a lot of times we go, oh my Lord, why that happens? But we're not trying to fix the things before we talk into Lord. Thank you very much.
Thank you. James? Are you aware, or any of those that he mentioned on your radar?
Yeah, I believe he was mentioning West Ripon Road. I know that project is in design currently, and that should be striped here shortly.
Okay,
Stockton Avenue, that's something that we could certainly look at. And then we'll have to look at exactly where he was talking to around Save Mart.
okay, and I'll
Reflectors.
ask the same question to Chief. Have there been near misses, accidents, above what you would expect in those areas that he mentioned?
Mr. Mayor, no, not to my knowledge.
All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, let's move to approval of minutes for our last meeting
So
in
move.
February.
Second.
Very good. Next, approval of the agenda is posted, or are there any items that someone would wish to pull?
I'm gonna pull 1.2E. I'm a paid director of Bank of Stockton. I need to leave the room.
Okay. We will set aside item 1.2E. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Second.
Moved and seconded. And the amended agenda is approved. All right. The amended consent calendar. Moved and seconded. Consent calendar is approved, and now we will move to item 1.2E. Thanks, Mr. Councilman Stusha.
All right, he can't hear us.
All right, is there a motion to approve item 1.2E?
Yep, motion approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Item is approved, I think. Mike will not be voting, so I'm going to end the vote. There we go. Very good. That concludes our consent calendar. We'll now move into public hearings. And the first item regards community block grant and home programs. Mr. Zeidervart.
Just really quickly, I'd like to introduce Michael Winters. You guys probably all know Michael. He's actually going to be presenting the public hearing for you guys this evening.
Welcome, Michael.
Bear with me since this is my first presentation. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, fellow council members. This is the time of year that we allocate CDBG funds received by HUD, which is overseen by the county. There's a pretty lengthy staff report here, so I'll overview it a little bit. For CDBG, there's two kind of pools of money. One's public works programs and the public service programs. For the public service programs, we received the same 4 applications as last year, 3 through the county, which are county contracts, and 1 through the city of Ripon, which is a Ripon contract. For the public works program, we are recommending to allocate the funds to the interior senior center project, which is phase 2, as we are wrapping up on phase 1, which was the exterior improvements. As far as home funds go, we are recommending to allocate these funds to a rental assistance, down payment assistance for low income within the city of Ripon, but overseen by the county. And that's all I really have for now. I'm happy to answer any questions or.
Very good. Thank you, Michael. Are there any questions from council? If not, excuse me, Councilman Zuber.
I have, well, two questions. One, this is probably for well, either one of you. The home funds that we're sending away are building up. Are there other ways we can use that money to put it to some use that the town, that we can benefit from?
Can I take a stab at that? Yeah. So we can. It has to be a qualifying project, and most of it is it's a variety of low income housing activities. So right now we don't have any qualifying projects. So it's kind of a placeholder for now for the down payment assistance, which residents can still pull from, but we don't have any qualifying projects. But yes, we can use those funds in different ways and allocate that in a different manner. That would just go through a public hearing process.
Are we looking at some? It just bothers me that every year we get this report and that money that's sitting at the county is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if there are other ways to put it to use, I hope we're looking at them. Because I don't want the county to walk in here one day and say, well, hey, if you can't use it, we'll use it.
We'll be bringing some projects to council with some funding recommendations for that money.
The other question I have was the part that was, I think it's in here. There's a third part where we allocate some of this money to different groups in town. And I noticed that in the staff report, the amount requested exceeded what was available. So the staff report said, we'll just reduce everybody's allocation a certain percentage until it works. One of the 4 applicants is in Ripon. That's Bethany. The other 3 are county programs that may, to some extent, work in Ripon or may not. I guess my question is, if we gave Bethany all the that they asked for, there would still be money left over to go to the other 3, but at a reduced price. Is there any reason that we couldn't do that? I'd just like the money, if it's here and somebody in town can use it, I'd rather it be used here, knowing it's going to be used here than maybe being used here.
Absolutely, and we can reallocate that in a different way. I will say those 3 services that the county got, one's the mobile farmers market. They provide meals to Rapona School. Meals on Wheels, they do stuff for seniors here locally too. And then fair housing, more down payment assistance. So they do provide some services within the city of Ripon for our residents. But yes, we could absolutely allocate the full requested amount to Bethany and then split the remaining funds evenly between the 3 county contracts or applications. So that is definitely possible.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
So this money that keeps building up that Councilman Zuber's talking about, is that actually physically at the county?
I believe they are in control of the down payment assistance. It's roughly 294,000.
294, something
Yes,
like
sir.
that? So it's sitting up there with them.
I don't know that for 100% certain,
Is
but
it growing at some interest rate for us since it's our money, or we get 0 on it?
I'll have to defer to Ken on that one.
It is sitting at the county. It is money. It's home funds that are allocated and kept at the county. So if a Ripon resident that meets income qualifications needs down payment assistance, they could go to the county and apply for down payment assistance.
But it's our
I
money,
can't-
so we should be getting like a CD rate on it or
I
something.
can't explain. I'd have to look into if we're getting any interest.
Well,
on
I'd be
money or
nice
not.
to know.
I honestly don't know the answer.
Otherwise, it's dead money.
It is.
No, I get it. I get it. If we're getting something on it, it's just a place to sit it. But if we're not getting anything on it, let's bring it back and give it to them when they need it. Anyway, thank you.
Any other questions from council? If not, this is a public hearing. If anyone would like to address council on this issue, please come to the podium. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. And see, there's action on this item. Is that correct?
Before we do, is Leo's proposed changes in the form of a recommendation, or can we make those changes? If we were taking action on this, they need to be made now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I propose Leo makes a recommendation and how he wants it.
Well, I would approve as recommended with the change that Bethany receive their full requested allocation and that the remaining amount be then divided amongst the other three. That's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kenny, could you maybe weigh in on that?
Yeah, there's a couple ways to divide the remaining funds that we might need some clarification on. We could actually take the requested amounts, break that down into a percentage and fund them all to the percentage they ask for with what the remaining funds are. Or we could just divide it by 3 and give them a third, a third, and a third. So we would like some direction on.
I think the way that you did it before, I go with the former. In other words, they get a percentage equivalent to the percentage that their request is of the 3 requests.
Very good. I think within that, we've got a motion.
And I'll still second that.
Okay, very good.
That's a good idea.
All right, motion is carried. Next, we have ordinance regarding our rules and regs on activity within our parks. And Mr. Werner.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chapter 9.23 of the city's municipal code establishes the rules and regulations governing the use of city parks and recreational facilities. So the changes to the ordinance that is before the city council tonight is a combination of input from myself, the city attorney, park and rec director, and the chief of police, and the city clerk as well. So there's a lot of different departments that had input into this. So there's 3 main areas that staff is proposing be included in these changes. First of all, the process that's currently being used to obtain a park use permit for any organized events or activities within city parks. How it's currently laid out in the municipal code is not how we currently do it. So the changes that you see in the red line version do match the current process, and that process is primarily between the recreation director and the recreation commission, and the responsibilities between each of them. The second part of the change, or second grouping of changes, I would categorize these to clarify and distinguish between which violations, specifically those prohibited conducts in all city parks under 040, which ones would be considered an infraction versus those that would be prosecuted as a demeanor, so misdemeanor. So staff has gone through and clarified that. And then lastly, the third area of changes, and this is in addition to the section of the municipal code, is language in here that protects natural areas within open spaces that are owned, controlled, or operated by the city for park, recreation, or open space purposes. An example of this is the riparian habitat along the river right there. So there's been language added that nobody could go in there and start excavating, grading, making changes within those areas. One thing that is not included in this, when staff was meeting this morning talking about some of these changes and continuing to go through different what-if scenarios, the one thing that is not in here, and we would like to, if council's okay with it, bring back during the second reading, is right now motor vehicles are not able to drive or park on the lawn. We would also add personal transportation devices like e-bikes, e-scooters, those type of devices to that language as well. And then there's a cleanup item in 050A. I think we state a certain number of days and say it 2 different ways. So we would clarify that as well when we bring it back for the second reading.
Very good. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Questions from council? Yes, Mr. Restuccia.
So a couple questions. One is, thanks for doing this because we know about the riparian problems. What I didn't see in here, it references the penalty. It says they gotta fix it up if they screw it up. But what is a penalty? I mean, we ought to make it high enough to disencourage people from doing it rather than just, it's $10 plus you gotta fix it if you get caught. And I didn't see that in any, you reference another part of something.
Yeah, so I had a particular interest in this portion of this, obviously. And I've written this in a way, or just this section in a way that so misdemeanors just have a flat line penalty of $1,000 per violation. However, when we're talking about riparian habitat and potentially endangered species and stuff associated with that, there's also provisions of state law that could be applicable to specific modifications of that area that our police would obviously have to their discretion to impose those or to cite people for those penalties, and on conviction they would be subject to greater fines. Obviously, those would be prescribed by state law, but some of those amount into the $25,000 to $50,000 range for various habitat degradation sort of activities. And obviously, you have to align the conduct with the actual crime at issue. But in addition to that, if the city was subject to some sort of remediation efforts for some sort of degradation to the habitat, we've incorporated the flexibility to go after those perpetrators to be able to collect those penalties that the city incurs in that cleanup as well.
That part was clear, but it references someplace else for the penalties. It's not in there. So I guess you'd have to go to that chapter or someplace to figure out what the actual penalties are.
Yeah, typically the language in here is just that the penalties are cumulative. So you stack them on top of each other. And
Okay,
so,
all right.
yeah, it's intentionally broadly worded so that we're not just limiting the scope of what we can cite, because we just can't imagine the scope of every possible foreseeable crime that can happen. So here, the device being used is just kind of generality, so that you're kind of covering all your bases by ambiguity.
No, but that's good. But you also reference that section you're talking about. It's not in there, but you reference it. So that you'd have to go to there to figure out what maybe you're
Sure.
gonna use. Okay, that's good.
And I'm sure the chief's officers would have, those
Yeah,
provisions
okay,
ready to go
okay.
when they're citing those.
The only other question I have, thank you, counsel, is 25 days to approve the permit? I mean, that seemed like we ought to be able to approve a permit in 5 or 10 days. Well, I got my 233.050. I have it in my notes, but I'm trying to look for it now. Yeah, shall have 25 business days to approve or deny the application. That seems like an awful long time.
Yeah, Kai, do you want to address that? I would
So we can
imagine-
certainly approve it sooner. I think in the past, that is why we're making the changes. It would need to go to the commission, and it no longer has to go to the commission. So we can take the 25 days out and lessen it and to a much smaller time frame. But they need to get it in so everyone can evaluate what's available, give them time to get the insurance and all that stuff in. But we probably don't need the full 25 days.
But if they get all that to begin with and come in and give it
Yes.
to you, it shouldn't take 25
Yeah,
days
no.
for you to approve it with everything. What's a reasonable period of time? That just seems like an awful long period of time.
We like at least 1 to 2 weeks. In almost everything we approve, we can
Yeah.
do within that time.
Yeah, I was thinking of 10 days and Leo says 10 business days. I think that's reasonable. Somebody can move on if they can't, if it's busy or something. They don't want to wait 25 days and find out they can't do it.
Usually I'll tell them if it's available the same day, whether they get the paperwork in, might take a little bit longer, but I'll ask them what day you're looking for, what facility, and say, yep, that's available, or no, it's in use.
Well, I wouldn't do the same day, but I would say
Yeah, yeah.
10 business days or something. To me, that's just more reasonable.
We could take a closer look at that and bring that back.
Okay,
with the
all right.
second
If
reading.
everybody agrees, I just think that's a long time.
Any other questions?
That's all I had.
I have one. Danny, Chief Sauer, the activities that these changes identify, in your experience, are these primarily Ripon residents who are involved in these kinds of activities, or people who are from out of town?
Do you have a specific one you're referring to?
Well, I'm just thinking particularly as we get warmer weather, summer months, downstream of Stouffer Park, there's a lot of traffic activity over there. A lot of the things that are in this are more specific, I think, to that riparian area. When you guys have contacts over there, is it mostly Ripon folks or is it people from out of town?
I would say it's a mixture of both. During the summer months, on the weekends, we definitely see more traffic over there from non-Ripon residents, but we definitely still deal with violations for Ripon residents down there as well.
Sure. So then I'm wondering, Kevin, how do we, what's the publicity for this? You have identified that, but are there going to be, I'm thinking of the trail that goes down to that riparian area. Are there going to be some kind of notices there about some of the changes of this and the penalties for violations of that?
There is. Staff has drafted signs that would be located at the entrances that talks about these items being violations within that open space. And also, if anyone observes anyone violating that they could call the Ripon Police Department, and it would also note the potential of fines.
Could it be like a menu? You have dollar signs and have $4 signs or $5 signs on it?
Okay, very good.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other questions for staff? If not, let's see. Is this the first? Okay. Public comment on this. Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to address council on this issue? If not, then do we have a motion to?
We get to waive the first reading and introduce the ordinance subject to the changes that were brought up during council discussion.
Second.
Ooh, I'm relieved. Councilman Zuber keeps threatening to make Lisa read these ordinances.
Do what?
All right, we have a motion and a second. And the ordinance as amended is adopted. Next, speed limit ordinance, which we have discussed previously. This is this also you?
It's nothing, second reading.
No, it's just a second.
Mr. Mayor, I would say that we waive the second reading and adopt the ordinance.
All right, we have a motion to waive the reading.
Second.
Ordinance is adopted and a few changes in some speed limits around town will be evident soon. All right, very good. Next, we are blessed by the presence of our fire chief, Chief DeHart. The floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Members of the council and staff, thank you for the opportunity to allow me to come and present basically our status of where we are with our upcoming benefit assessment, also known as a 218. We are more trying to call it a benefit assessment. So the main reason for why we have the need is the concurrent calls, or calls for service that are receiving when we are already on another call, continues to rise. In 2025, we realized 986 concurrent calls. Had to do the math, that's about 2.7 per day. So it continues to be a challenge for us. There are some days we have none, and then there are some days we will have 4, and we're even now seeing 5 at some times. So it continues to challenge our crews, causing them to have to triage the call that they're on. Are they able to leave and go handle another call? Or do they have to stay committed to that incident where we then call in resources from adjoining jurisdictions? So with that, obviously the need continues and will continue as our calls for service increase, populations, not maybe necessarily in Ripon or in our fire district, but certainly of our adjoining cities and counties is definitely adding to this. So over the last few months, we've been working with the consultant, looking at the various parcels that transferred over from the county, putting them into various categories, whether it's commercial or office, storage. It can be ag, ag with structures, ag without structures, residential, of course. Some of them transferred over just fine. Others, they have to be looked at and tweaked. So we've been really going through and trying to methodically look at those. We're working on the language that will be in the engineer's report. Currently working on the indexing language of how that will read. We want to make sure it's clear and concise so that it doesn't confuse the average voter. It is presenting to be a challenge because the consultants want a certain amount of lawyer speak in it, and people like myself don't speak that. So we're trying to find that happy medium that the layman can understand it, and yet it still makes the attorneys happy. So that's been kind of a struggle, but we're getting through it. Working on the outreach component with the consultant, not just from what we are doing internally, but also working with them to work on how we're going to get out to the public in the coming months and really start driving the information that we're trying to get out to everybody. I have been meeting tirelessly with our stakeholders, our members, all property owners, obviously, but of our ag community, of our business community. Met with the city administrator, Kevin Werner, about the city side. The schools, they're all going to be affected. Bethany Home, of course, is affected, meeting with them to make sure that the proposed figures that are all still in draft and we're still working on those and trying to fine tune, making sure that they understand why they're going to be assessed, the amount that they're going to be assessed, answer any questions that there might be, anything like that. The wine group is a large consumer of ours, so I've been speaking with them. And then, of course, Diamond. And those are only to name a few. There's obviously so many more out there. I've just, trying to meet with them on a one-on-one basis. Nobody likes taxes. It's a 3-letter word that we all hate. But really, once people understand the need, understand the history of the fire district and how our revenues have remained stagnant since 1985, and trying to keep up with not only the cost of doing business, but also the amount of calls that we are seeing. In the end, they understand, which I truly appreciate. None of the conversations have been adversarial. They've all been very professional, which I've really, truly, it's hard to come in to people and start talking to them about their, the bottom line of dollars and cents and so forth. But I appreciate the fact that they've all been very good conversations. So that is good. I can't say enough about the community group with Ripon Fire. There's 25 or so members, all community based, that got together, and they are truly my sounding board. I've just had a meeting with them prior to this one, as we were talking about the indexing language and really pulling in their input and their thoughts on how we move forward. They're always somebody that I can send information out to, really get their feedback. And they are really, thinking from the citizen standpoint, not so much from the fire district or, from a government side. So really like the work that they're doing. I, again, can't say I appreciate what they're doing enough. We're getting out on social media as much as we can. Um, just the other day, I put one out about Station 3 and why it was built. A lot of feedback I get back, what a dumb purchase it was to build a fire station when you couldn't staff it. And when you put it like that, yes, it was a pretty dumb decision. But when you actually start sprinkling in the facts that it was one-time money given to the fire district, use it or lose it, $1.8 million worth, $500,000 of the fire district's money or the taxpayers' dollars combined built that station, it's really a genius idea. Now, if we tried to build that station today, we would be somewhere around $8 million. And now I'd be coming to the city saying, hey, we need to raise $8 million. So social media posts like that, a lot of good feedback, a lot of good conversation in the chats and so forth. Just really trying to get that information out there, post various things of what we have going on. I spoke today with Dennis Wyatt from Manteca Bulletin, very excited on that conversation. He's agreed to come into the office next week and start talking about some various articles that we can help put out. Information is very hard in today's day and age. It used to be 30 years ago, it was either newspaper or the television. Everybody got one or the other and gathered their information that way. Now it's scattered. There's so many different platforms out there, so many different sources. So I really appreciate the Manteca Bulletin stepping up and helping us get that information out there. Our next board meeting, which will be in this Thursday, I'm hoping to wrap up all of the details for the engineer's report so we can submit that. The engineer can, the consultant can put our draft engineer's report together, which we will be expecting either by our April board meeting or at the latest our May board meeting. The engineer's report would then be accepted, and then we would start going into the ballot proceedings. Our goal as of today is the ballots are going to go out either end of May or early June. They have to stay out for 45 days, the 45th day being our August board meeting, which would be the second Thursday. I'd have to look up what day that is. But that would be the 45th day, and then we would be able to count the ballots and see what the results are. Prior to all of that, we will have several. I've already done 5 town hall meetings. We'll have some more. Obviously, once the numbers start coming out, people are going to start getting more interested and probably more participative in the process. So we'll have some town hall meetings to be able to allow people to come in, learn more about it, ask the questions, and always looking for opportunities to get out into the public, obviously, to talk about this, get the information out there. I think that wraps up all of the information I wanted to impart. Is there any questions from the board or the community?
Yes, any questions, Council? Dean.
Who?
How was your gut feeling on your response from people?
So I will say that I feel the majority of the responses that we're getting are positive. People have asked me how I feel about it. I'm going to continue to say I feel like we have a lot of work to do. I'm going to say that we are continually behind because I think that gives me the drive just to continue to get out there every day and really grind away at this process. the comments that I've gotten that have been negative are few and far between. Um, Everybody wants good police services. Everybody wants good fire services. We just all can't necessarily agree on how to get there. So, but to answer your question, Councilman, I will say that for the most part, it's all been pretty positive.
That's good.
Councilman Stucci.
I think you're doing a good job of going about how you're doing it, where you're doing it, the committees you've got together. I mean, it seems like you're not missing much. What's concerning to me is the population in Ripon isn't growing, but the age is growing, which is putting a lot of demands on you. And I don't think people really realize that. And we've talked before, whether it's privately or not, I forget, about, sometimes you need to have some pain before you feel something. And yeah, people don't like paying taxes because they can't see where it goes. Here they can see where it goes. You send it to the state, who knows where it goes. I visited a friend the other day that had surgery and they needed to be rushed to the hospital because something went wrong. They had to wait for Manteca to show up. And the comment to me was, boy, I just can't wait till that Prop 218 passes. I mean, they're aware of it, but that pain right there really convinced them that they wanted it done. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to go through some pain, and that's what you're trying to prevent. Let's not get the pain, let's get it done before that happens. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm glad we're partnering with you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've seen more this year than we certainly saw last year. The amount of calls, that's third or that fourth call that's come in where either Manteca Fire, Escalon Fire has to come in and handle the call for us. And on an average, that's a 14-minute response from the time the 911 call is received until the Manteca engine or the Escalon engine is able to arrive. And 14 minutes is a long time. It truly is. Fortunately, we have not experienced that critical where it was a cardiac arrest call or something like that. But they have been chest pain calls. They have been difficulty breathing calls. And if you have ever been having a discomfort, even if we get there in 4 minutes, we hear, man, what took you so long? It felt like 10. Well, if you're in that discomfort and it took them 14 minutes to get there, I can only imagine, it probably feels like an eternity. Also, on your comment about growth, I hear that a lot, that we're growing too fast. You need to deal with the people that are causing the growth, the new homes and everything. And I had to check with Ken. In the last 5 years, I sent him an email. It's been a while. Something like 21 home permits or something in 5 years. Sound about right? Not counting the 88. It's not a growth issue. It's not. You hit it on the head. We are, as a society, ages are getting older, which is great, but it's the older society that have medical issues or, things like that. That's the problem. Our neighbors are growing. We're not necessarily growing, so we are feeling the effects of it in a city that has a lot of growth. There's fire impact fees that you see, and then there's also the revenue, the ongoing revenue from the property taxes and whatever that sustains those services, and we just don't have that here. So we either go after new customers. We don't have many new customers. Unfortunately, we have to go. The tax then ends up going on the existing customer base.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman DeGraff.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for all of your communication. You're taking the time to come here and present to us and share with us how it's going, and just the continued effort to share with the community what you guys are working on. And I think it's we've talked about this a dozen times, but it's critical to get out the message and explain to people the benefit that they're going to get from paying this. And I think you're doing a great job. So I just encourage you to continue that as you go through the process, and happy to help out in any way we can. So thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate the support from the city, the council, really from everybody. It has been hearing comments like that from even just people walking down the street. I know we're heading in the right direction. We just got to get it across the finish line.
I've got a few comments and a question. We've been getting a fair amount of publicity from the newspaper, local newspapers, and social media on the issue you raised, concurrent calls. And I've got to think that's got to help in your effort to get this thing across the finish line. Secondly, oftentimes on social media, when there are comments about this, there is fairly frequently a misconception that the fire department is part of the city of Ripon. And I just want to tell you and Sherry and others who address that you do that in a very diplomatic way, but you make very clear, no, we are an independent agency. We are not under the city's auspices. We work together, but it's a entirely different funding base. And so I appreciate you clearing that up. Also, I wanted to mention that I've had a number of conversations with folks in the ag community. I haven't heard anyone who voted for it before and has changed their mind. I've heard a handful who have gone the other direction. So I think you're making some positive headway there. Grateful for that. And finally, you mentioned indexing.
Mhm.
I know that was a point of concern with the last 218 effort. It was a concern of mine actually as well.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of where you're headed on that for this round?
I will cautiously answer that because my board hasn't had an opportunity to really weigh in and vote on it. I will say that the last go around, it was going to be capped out at 3%. And it somehow it got lost in translation or through the language, that the feedback I got back was the fire district is going to raise it 3% every year, no matter what. It was just automatic, which was never the case. I don't think any responsible government entity would ever engage in something like that. If you look at Ripon Fire, the reason we are in the pickle that we are is because we have always been a super conservative fire district. We have one of the lowest tax share ratios of all the fire districts in the county because we were so economical with our spending. They decided back in 1978 that Ripon Fire District only needed X amount. So had they been spending heavy in those years, things would be a little bit different. But that's just who we are. Even when the 1985 tax was passed, I'm told there were years that they didn't assess it because they just simply didn't need it. I like to remind our customer base that the board members are citizens just like you. They all pay taxes. They all own property. They're all affected by these decisions just like anybody else. So they're not necessarily looking to tax themselves for absolutely no reason. So we are looking at that. We are definitely taking all of those comments into consideration. It will definitely read differently, but as far as what the cap is or anything like that, we're looking at something similar, although it won't be exact, and that's probably about as deep as I can probably get into it.
Yes, yes.
I know we've talked about this before on that particular item, and I don't know if it helps or explains it any more to people, but including what we do with our Prop 218, our utility rates, there's been several times where we've raised it less than the maximum, and every board that I've ever worked for that has done a Prop 218, every single one of them has had the same conversation, and we never go up to the maximum because it's, you look at it every year and say, how much did we spend? How much do we need? And every one of them is a landowner and they're being charged the same. And they all go through the exact same discussion and say, yeah, we don't need to raise it by 3%. We don't need to raise it at all. And quite often they reduce it beyond or below the previous year because they don't need the amount of money that potentially generates. So it's something that we have the same discussion, but prior to the vote, and then when the board actually enacts the fees, we almost never go up to the maximum. Sometimes it does happen, but yeah, it's something that happens. It's a discussion every single time. It's a challenge. So being as clear as you can with that and straightforward is going to be helpful in that, but it'll be a question you get up until the final vote. So.
For sure.
Very good. I'll just echo Councilman Erstuche and DeGraff. Really appreciate your coming tonight, Chief DeHart, and your leadership of that department, our partnership with you. You're the right man at the right time, in my opinion, and we are very hopeful that you will be successful in this effort and that your department will be well funded in the years ahead, because I don't know anyone in this community who doesn't greatly appreciate what you do for the citizens of our town and the greater area. So thank you for coming, and I appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Reports. Chief Sauer.
Mr. Mayor, I have nothing to report.
Very good. Mr. Stevens. Mr. Zeidervart.
We will not be having a planning commission meeting on Monday, so I know you guys were all gonna hurry down here to join us, but enjoy your night off.
I will miss it, Ken, I can assure you. Mr. Peace.
Yeah, two quick items, Mr. Mayor. Our February water usage for this year was 1%, within 1% of last year's usage. We were a touch over. And then staff, I just wanted to give the council a heads up. Staff is working on changes to chapter 8.12, which is the garbage disposal and collection. We have a few cleanup items that we're working on, as well as the request from Councilmember DeGraff on the time consideration for a free brush pickup. So that'll be forthcoming in a future meeting.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Terpstra. Mr. Werner. Mr. DeGraff, Councilman DeGraff.
Yeah, not a whole lot to report. Thank you all for being here and joining in for your comments this evening. And maybe don't explain it always, but I always say something. But we often don't know that something is going on. We're, particularly the council staff has a lot more engagement and maybe awareness of what's going on because they hear of some of these issues. But coming in and talking to us tonight, we don't know about some of these things unless you're bringing it to us. So I appreciate that, and I would encourage anybody who's listening or who else is here this evening, if there are things that are going on and things that you are either upset about or excited about, want to change. The way that gets done is by bringing it to our attention. So I just want to encourage people to come to council meetings, reach out to council, reach out to staff, and that's how we get things done. So I want to say appreciate that and thank you for being here. Yeah, I think that's it.
Excellent, thank you. Councilman Zuber.
Nothing.
Councilman Restuccia.
Couple things. One is flag football started. So you didn't bring that up. That started Monday. Another game tomorrow night. April 4th is this Saturday. We're having our 8th First Responder Appreciation Day. We're going to do it a little bit different. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking. And every dollar that we raise, in the past we've given out shirts and some bling and all that. We're not doing that anymore. We're going to come down. We're going to meet. We're going to walk to the fire station. I think she got approval, didn't she? I hope. And every dollar we're going to give back to each one of the first responders. So please join us on April 4th, 8:30 in front of the police department.
Excellent, and thank you for heading that up every year. That is a great event. Vice Mayor Euchre.
Nothing to report.
All right. I will, a couple of things. One, thank you, Kelly, your staff, for a fabulous almond blossom experience in spite of some pretty inclement weather, which, yeah, those things happen. But thank goodness the last few days we had sunshine, beautiful weather for the parade. And so anyway, thanks for all you do for this community. That's a wonderful event. And then I'd also like to, we were discussing this before our meeting. So those who received our city newsletter, a little item in there about our crime statistics for the last 10 years. If you didn't love Ripon before, you love it now. And Chief, those are just wonderful numbers that I am very confident are literally the envy of every other town in the Central Valley. That's just remarkable work. So thankful to you for your officers, those who protect us. And we are just so grateful that we live in a community where people feel safe to go about their daily lives. That's the first order of business of government, and you're doing a wonderful job. Keep it up. Appreciate it. And with that, we are adjourned.